Professor Pereira, thank you so much for talking to us today.
Thank you.
What do you mean when you speak about transitional justice? What does the term signify?
I think one way you can define it is an attempt to symbolically and selectively address human rights abuses after a period of dictatorship or civil war.
All right. In what ways does the transitional justice process in Brazil differ from other Latin American countries?
I think what's interesting about the Brazilian case is that it looked like a country where they had decided not to do anything. So it was a very gradual, informal pact that produced the democracy in the 1980s. And it was based on the idea that there would be no investigation of the human rights abuses and certainly no prosecutions. And this settlement lasted for quite a long time, but then gradually successive governments started doing very limited, partial investigations of some of the worst aspects of the repression of the dictatorship, and then that sort of culminated in what you have now, which is a National Truth Commission, which is generating a lot of publicity and demands to end the amnesty that was passed in '79. So it's very unusual in that it took a long time, but it didn't, unlike many other places, it didn't mean that the books were actually closed. They were reopened at a later point.
And what is the purpose of the newly established Truth Commission in Brazil?
Great question. I think there are several different versions. I think the commissioners on the Truth Commission have slightly different views about what their role should be. But I think in terms of, if you look at the legislation that created it, it's interestingly not a commission to achieve reconciliation. I just forgot to mention at the top, but reconciliation is not in the title of the commission. It's a truth commission. So I think it's a very limited mandate. They are meant to discover new information about human rights abuses, publish that in a report, and they get that information by requesting documents, interviewing and inquiring the testimony of people, but they do not have a mandate to challenge the amnesty. So it's very much a sort of fact-finding mission rather than a justice mission.